It's 4 in the morning. The Texans just beat the Bills. I'm Lance Hayes with Sports Social Live. Let's get into this big game win. Let's go. The Texans just beat the Bills 23-20 on a last second Kaimi Fairbairn 59-yard field goal. This was a game that was hard fought, penalties on both sides, but the Texans came out victorious, and I am excited. In this episode, we'll talk a little bit about the offensive line. We'll go to some better discipline, and we'll talk about a few game things that we saw. This is a quick post that I'm going to get out today, and I'm going to do some more throughout the week. But the Texans got the dub. How do you feel? Follow us, like, subscribe, share, show some love to the page because the Texans got a dub today. But first things first, I want to talk about the Texans played with better discipline and grit today. They played better in most phases of the ball, but we still saw a few issues, but I'm okay with how they played today. They bend, but they didn't break. They had the tenacity on the offensive line. You saw people stepping up at times when they needed them to step up. I'm excited about how they played this game. The keys to the victory were to be a better disciplined football team, and the Texans came out and did that, and they did that well to get the victory 23-20. Like, subscribe, share, Sports Social Live at SportsSocialTV. You see me on Twitter, getting active. I'm posting for Japan. It's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm still in here. Let's go. So let's talk about the Texans O-line. The Texans O-line played a pretty good game. You cannot be mad at what they did this game. I did not mind. I mean, besides a few penalties, some of them were a little ticky-tack. The one on Shaq Mason was a little bit of a force, in my opinion. But for the most part, the Texans O-line played better than they have played in most of the games. Blake Fisher, he was there. He needs a little work. But I'm not mad at what happened throughout the game. I'm okay. Blake Fisher's a rookie. I get it. Scruggs held it down. Mason played a way better game. It looked like his hips were a little bit looser, and he was able to get after the ball and get off the ball. I like what I saw from our tackles. We had to make up for Howard being out. We had to make up for Mixon being out, and the O-line looked like they stepped up to the plate because our offensive line coach was on the hook. I'm pretty sure he was. And this game might have been a game that he's able to make a comeback statement. And it seems like everything worked. When the line had that tenacity and grit, everything began to work in our favor. I'm okay with what's going on. I'm okay with the offensive line. And I'm okay with how they played. I mean, we know what we had going into the game. So I'm not mad at what was going on. But I am kind of skeptical and salty with Nico Collins. After that big 60-yard bomb from CJ, Nico Collins leaves the game with a hamstring injury. But I think about it. Nico was hurt earlier in the week. He was hurt. So is this a lingering injury? And this is what I talk about when we rush players back in the first half of the season. These soft tissue injuries linger. All you see is hamstring growing. These soft tissue injuries make and break teams later in the year. So when they do have issues like this, I'm more inclined to have them sit than play in the first half of the season, especially when you have playoff hopes. Nico Collins, baller, he's out. He probably will sit next week with this hamstring injury because it will only make sense for him to sit next week, in my opinion. But we shall see going forward. With Nico Collins going out, I like what CJ began to do. CJ began to spread the ball, spread the wealth. He went to Diggs. He went to Dell. You saw some more from Schultz. You saw Kate Stover getting in there. You saw Hutch getting active. That's what we needed from from CJ and Bobby Slowick. You see that ball moving around and you see some good activity. I'm okay with what's going on with CJ when Nico was out of the game. I like Diggs' tenacity. I like Diggs' tenacity out there. I'm a big tempo, heart, grit type of person, but I like how they were playing the game. Not a fan of the screenplays, and we'll talk about that later. But I am a fan of what was going on with when Nico Collins, your big number one receiver, goes out the game. CJ goes and begins to spread the ball like butter. I mean, the guy was 10 for 11 in the first half. You can't beat what he was doing. You can't beat that with a stick. So let's go. I like what they're doing. Like Texans are starting to put it together. They're starting to put it together. 23-20, beating the Buffalo Bills, a tough Buffalo Bills team when we both had injuries. So let's go. Follow us, Sports Social Live TV, Sports Social Live, Sports Social TV on Twitter. Like, share, post, do it all. Connect with me. But another thing about connecting, let's swarm like our linebackers. I don't know if you guys have been watching our linebacker play throughout the year, but the linebackers have not left the field. Azeez Al-Shire and Tua, they have barely left the field. And as a former player, I see what these guys are doing, and it's phenomenal. Shire has to be on some type of AFC South team linebacker award or something for how he's hustling and playing. And you also have Henry Tua playing lights out, swarming the ball, getting underneath passes. You saw Ashair on 3 pass breakups. He should have had 2 picks in this game, back to back in 2 plays. Like, you got to give this guy the credit that is due. I'm happy with how they're playing. They had to have something to tank, especially Ashair when he was sick earlier in the week. And you could tell he was missing an inch of a step. I'm not going to say a lot of steps, but he was missing something, and he made up for it. I'm okay with it. He balled out, and that's what we need from a linebacker. But also, I'll be remiss if I didn't say this. If I didn't say that we were missing Mixon, and I still have the O-line thing on here, so I'll adjust that. But we were mixing. If Dare played well, Kim played well. I'm not mad at what they did. They took advantage of the positions that they were put in. They made some big plays when they needed, but you could tell the difference on that 4th and 1 play with Dare. I think that Joe Mixon either is patient, like the Le'Veon Bell jump step, hits the backside gap, or just bulldozes over the pile. Dare is still trying to find his way, but I'm not knocking the production that he gave us this game. He was a good, stable running back. I'm not gonna lie. What's the point of putting Pierce back in there? Pierce might have to be on the clock. I think he's on the clock now. This was his week to take advantage of Mixon being out, and I just don't see a room for Pierce right now. Dare is playing well. Pierce, they love Pierce. Maybe he comes back and provides a pop, but I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I'm happy with what they were able to put together this game, and I'm okay with the team. But what I wasn't okay with, and I'm trying to just do quick hits here. I'm not going to go into detail. We have a whole 2 or 3 days for that prior to the New England spin-up. I'm just concerned about a few things. My biggest concern is game management. We're still seeing that sophomore season meshing that needs to happen with our game management. There are two instances of that. One being towards the end of the game is the biggest one. The quick pass decision was, I don't know if that was an audible or what happened there. I was not happy to see that. And in the first half, there was a few calls, and I was like, how are we managing this game, and what are we doing? I like Bobby Slowick's offense this game, but I see that there's more. I think he's getting too creative instead of just playing football. He's being a little too creative for me. You have 3 pieces, a 3-headed monster receiving core. You don't have to force the run at all times, nor do you have to force the screen and these super elaborate screens. It looks like CFL football when they do that. I don't need that. If you're gonna do a screen, miss a screen, not kill that, go to the next play. But these looping around screens, and it's just a lot. Play action screens are weird to me. I don't know why he keeps on doing it, and it seems like we're doing it often, 3 to 5 times a game. So that's a little odd to me. I just got to see them figure out what's gonna come with that. Maybe there's something down the line with that. Is getting the linebackers moving side to side, getting them confused. But I have to see what Bobby Slowick's mind is doing with that. I just can't put it together in my mind. But yeah, I like what I see from that. And oh by the way, uh, I'm happy. I'm happy because the under hit. Like I said, Texans win under hit. If you went with me, you win. You're a winner. We're winners this week. The Texans hit. The under hit. Like I was saying, I feel like this game was going to be similar to that. Josh Allen missed a few passes and everything, but these are our betting odds. We did pretty well this week with our betting odds. How did you do this week? If you match me, we're winners, like the Texans. But this is my Texans quick post game. I'm Lance Hayes, Sports Social Live. Salute. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on IG, TikTok, all of the above. Lance Hayes, Sports Social Live. I appreciate you.